What's that crawling through the catacombs? It's Wandering Monster. Roll a negative!
Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's test table where we don't play test games, we stress test them. My name is John Baltusberger.
I'm Charles R. Bernard.
I'm Bridget Brave.
Ian Servas.
And I'm a frog in a garbage disposal / blender.
Friends, there comes a time in every person's life when they look upon their works and despair. If you're someone who suffers from imposter syndrome, such as myself, that moment is every day.
I suffer from too much pasta syndrome.
Me too.
Homeboy.
Hey, John, just breaking in. That is your all-time greatest introduction line so far. There comes a time in every person's life you must look upon your works in despair. That slaps. I need to write that down.
He is rather mighty.
So today this time is upon us once again, where we look around ourselves and we realize that while no man is an island, occasionally a podcast is. The five of us set out to drift at sea, alone, defenseless. Occasionally someone throws us an oar, usually consisting of a PDF with a few images slapped into it that Ian still needs to get to editing. But we do our best, and we chart these waters through grit and stevia and an inner thong that we just pull up to whale tail and try to seduce those sirens
mine is
back.
an inner thong when I wear it. When I wear mine, it is an inner thong. Yeah.
We're just reaching out towards that siren call of not fame, but relevance. We all want to have some level of impact on the world around us, be it through our scholarly works, our editing, our work in the community, fighting against fascism, trying to hire all of our friends so that they can do slapping good jobs and be happy. Like, we're all doing what we can. And my place in this world is to write silly bullshit and market it as high literature. To that end, last year I wrote a book and I sold that book called Whispers of the Dead Saint. Ian's holding it up right now. Whispers of the Dead Saint feels a little bit like a fever dream for some, and those some being me specifically. Johan Noor did the cover. The actual artist from Morkborg did the cover of my little book, which I then got tattooed on my leg.
I called that one, man.
Simone Tometa did the art. Pelly Nielsen did the forward, and I slapped some words together, and I was desperately trying to think of ways that we could like entice people in without it costing more money. And I was like, hey, why don't I throw in some game? Hey, I fancy myself a game designer. I've made a game. Why don't I design some workboard bullshit game stuff to put in there?
Was that because the full color centerfold was going to be too expensive at printing?
Charles wouldn't wear the vampire costume I got him with the crotch cut out.
It was not revealing enough. I told you I wanted more than the crotch cut out. It was pretty hilarious that it was just a tuxedo with the crotch cut out. That was funny.
I told you. Yeah, subtlety. Anyway, so that book came out. People buy that book, which is amazing. Thank you. but
You're welcome.
we need to just drill down on the most poorly conceived part of that book, which is the adventure. Tonight, Ian is going to run us through the complete idiocy, which is my game design. I'm not running it because that'd be silly.
Does that mean you want me to run it raw?
I want you to run it raw on me. I want the audience to understand that I am not going to metagame. I don't remember anything I wrote, and it's going to be as fresh to me as it is to anyone else. Let's do it.
Love that there is
dive in.
There's a lot of John in this, including one room. I'm curious if you enter because it'll. There's little glimpses into John's psyche in this. So.
Oh no!
Nice.
Oh no!
Yeah, weirdly, I have the same thing where I can write something, and if enough time goes by, someone might mention it and be like, "I like the part where blah blah blah," and I'm like, "It did, I did."
Yeah.
Zero memory. Yeah.
Time out. This last week, I wrote a comedy short story for a anthology that came out from St. Rooster. It's called Razor Blade in the Fun Size Candy. My story, the assassination of Mr. John Baldisberger.
Cool.
Involved the cameo from Michael Allen Rose, in which something happens, and then he goes on to talk about the sheer number of testicles he has. Michael Allen Rose sent this to me, took a picture and sent it to me, and I thought he was making fun of me because of my recent surgery. No, I wrote that. Now here's the thing, my friends. That's the third time that a fan or friend has sent me a excerpt from my own fucking book that I've been like, oh, that's cool. When did you write that? And they look at me like, no, idiot, you did.
Means you like it.
See what happened. What happened here is what we call a 4-dimensional ripple from John's surgery. You see, both forwards and backwards in time, the memory of this event was so traumatic that John actually began pre-forecasting it without even his own knowledge in his writing, as far back as you should see how far back the first reference is, and you can establish exactly how traumatic it was by the size of the. Yeah,
I have a book coming out in August that is, shall we say, castration forward. So at least as far back as that.
With a nice cheese grater to the eyeball finish. It's just
there is a non-zero number of castrations.
And that's just the opening part before you get to the story that generally someone else writes.
So that brings us to tonight's adventure. Now, we have a colorful cast of characters that are just begging to be introduced, and we do need someone to, jump on that landmine and go first. And I know that Paschke usually does it.
I have laryngitis. I'm not doing that.
I feel like I need to jump straight from the gutter to the stars and just let you guys know who I am and what I'm about. My name is Third. I am gutter-born scum, and I'm about stealing, knifing, swearing, and taking candy bars without paying for them, which is also stealing. Yep, that's pretty much all you need to know about.
Of stealing.
Yeah, third kind of stealing. It says here vindictive and nihilistic, which I think of myself in person as jolly and nihilistic. So I don't know.
I see that.
Swollen and alcoholic's nose, that checks out. Stress response is aesthetic display. Now, see, I'm going to interpret that in my own very particular way. So when I get stressed, you'll find out how.
I cannot wait to stress you out.
I'm already stressed.
Pre-stressed.
Yeah, I'm changing this name.
I was going to turn Thurg into Girth, but I've already made enough Girth jokes recently.
Fair. I guess I'll go. I am Agnar.
Oh no.
That is spelled Agnar, and then 3 exclamation marks after it. That's not my birth name, but rather my born again name. That every member of my orders bequeaths with a new name when they join. I am a priest of the 7th finger. Our god has 7 fingers on each hand, which the 7th, which is a big middle finger, is the most blessed of the digits. So that is our holy sign. We make a cross because we do crucify a lot of people.
Like one
yes,
does.
Sir. You have a question?
Yeah, like is one of the other fingers an additional thumb on each hand? Because I thought that would be super handy.
Yeah, so he has a thumb, like the god has an extra thumb on each hand, right? But then he has another middle finger, like just jutting out, that's just massive, and it really lets people know how you're feeling.
Do you have like a pamphlet about your religion? I'm very interested.
I will get that for you after the show, my friend. I am called a heretical priest, but I feel like that's a little bit like, hey, to me, you're the heretic. So maybe let's not use labels. But yeah, Agnar is ready to like make friends and check shit out with people. Go in peace.
All right, I'll go next. I'm Torfy. I just changed my name.
I love
it's
it.
Torfy. 2 eyes. Always with the 2 eyes. I didn't come here to make friends. I've already got enough friends. 30 of them. My fucking teeth. That's all I need in my life. So, yeah. I'm really excited about this aspect of my character, by the way, that the worse things get, the fancier my character gets. So, yeah, I've got some stuff planned there.
Can I display my appalling ignorance real quick? Is 30 teeth human size? How many teeth do we have?
32. 32 is standard human teeth.
Is that including the wisdom teeth?
Yes, it is.
So I had some removed.
You know, you still got the majority. So
when I taught Max Booth how to play games on his podcast, I gave him a Fang Deserter class, and he asked if I had created the character specifically to mock him.
Well, I believe that leaves just me. All right. So, my name's Summer because reasons it was on the character sheet, and I'm not changing it. This is the voice of Summer, ladies and gentlemen. Bask in the glory. But now, generation after generation, sacrifice to the fight. When will it end? When the dead finally stay down? A man is nothing more than a miserable pile of secrets. That is the most I'm going to talk for a minute. So I'm just gonna sit here.
I want to point out that this is not a bit. Mr. Paschke does in fact have laryngitis and is dying right now.
My boss made me go to work today, and I know John. I mean my actual day job.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not me. We definitely said, hey man, if you want to take the night off, that's cool. And Paschke was like, no, this is my fun bit. I want to do this because I'm a fucking trooper, and here he is, and we really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to point out before Ian gets into this, just real quick. I did absolutely no work balancing this game for any number of players. So
nope.
As I said,
why I
peace
asked
be with
if you wanted me to run it. Rules is written because like
run it raw. Run it raw dog this game, buddy.
There's one encounter where it's like 1D. No, I'm not gonna. I'll wait for you. It'll be a fun reveal.
We'll discover our death in time.
rather than as you put it, drilling down into the least developed part of the book, John, I consider this more like a DVD extra that's like, you know, one for the real heads, you know, like who are John Baltusberger like must have fans. So yeah.
It's the
All
book
right.
mini game. Select 2 for your answer.
So, oh, and it should be stated that Mr. Paschke's character this evening is the exclusive class that comes with the book, which is Slayer of the Unresting, which is based on what bloodline your character comes from, like what noble house, like Slayer house they come from, each giving them a different ability. So, your character is from the Belmont family, and yeah, you are nothing more.
And that is completely made up. I didn't get that from anywhere. It's definitely not stealing
Sounds
anything
very original.
trademarked.
You didn't even let me finish
Yeah,
my phrase, which
completely.
would have added ended to that, which would have been your character is nothing more than a miserable pile of secrets. Or maybe in your case, a pile of secretions. But so our opening scene takes place just over the side of the River Muir on the edge of Kyrgyz. You can hear from here already the wind and the howling wind rolling off the lions in the far distance that you can see jutting out like an ebon tooth. This place is forlorn. In fact, when you look in all directions from here, it's just scraggly moor that is rimed with recent snows. You find yourself at the very edge of what looks to be like a old, abandoned, dilapidated cathedral. You know that this place was once a revered cathedral. In fact, one of the few ones that were ever even erected in Kyrgyz. This being the Cathedral of Saint Skelvik, previously a saint revered for their ability to take people's wounds and provide general healing. But something happened after his passing, and well, let's just say that the Inquisition of the Church of the Two-Headed Basilisk is not very kind on people that don't share all the same tenets. Everyone that was part of the lay people, the clergy, and basically everyone was just slaughtered, butchered, and the doors were shuttered. You can still see bits of the runes marking the door, forbidding people to ever trespass the threshold ever again. And from the looks of it, maybe that wasn't perhaps followed, as the barricade erected around the door has been smashed open. You've been lured here because, well, there have been reports of, well, too many undead, far more than there should be in this section of Kyrgyz, and they seem to be perhaps leaking out of this church. Those are, of course, rumors, just like the rumors you've heard that there is some fabulous wealth that is waiting in the reliquary. But regardless, there is a reward from some of the wealthy patrons from Galgenbeck for you to go in and purge this threat because, well, valuable assets that are traveling down the River Muir are getting ransacked by undead coming out of the river and pulling ferries to their death. So that is what has brought you here. People that have answered a summons to purge whatever the source of the undead is, maybe get some treasure, and, well, spend it all in various ways in taverns around town in the best ways you know how. Do any of you happen to know each other or work with each other previously, or any connection that you might have to?
Yeah, I think I've been traveling with the Slayer. He goes into ancient ruins to like fight the undead, and I go in to snaggletooth some ancient text. I am looking for the older gods, the gods that came before the prophecies, and that's why I'm here. So I think the Slayer and I have worked together pretty frequently.
Sounds right.
I
think you
might
guys-
suggest that we hired a couple of mercenaries to
That's
join
exactly
us.
what I was going to say. Since I'm a sneaky thief, you can always use one of those when you're
Mhm.
dealing with booby traps and undead and all kinds of other things.
Boobies.
Traps.
Boobies. Undead boobies.
Yeah, and I don't know any of these creeps. I just got here.
Hey, we're talking about going to get some traps later. You want in?
Wasn't told this would be a group project.
It is if you believe hard enough.
God.
I believe in a thing called love. Just a rhythm of my heart.
Any chance we can make it now?
As you stand outside of this cathedral, one of those cold, biting winds scrapes past the face of the cathedral, making a terrible moaning sound echo from within the darkened cathedral.
Sounds fun.
Well, I guess that's
A biting wind making a sound would be.
You do hear something that sounds like gnashing of teeth, but you're not too sure.
All right, I'm listening to that, and I'm going to reach into my pack and slowly remove a purple cowboy hat with feathers festooning it. Just put it on.
Okay.
All right.
I just I feel better now.
Torfy, is
yeah.
it? This is an
Torfy.
all-timer character-wise. Yeah. Awesome. It's just the start of a proper journey. It begins with the hat.
He read a book on peacocking. Saw a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Clearly misunderstood.
So when you say cowboy hat, do we mean like elaborate fedora? Do we mean like the really tall kind? Do we mean like just a little tiny bowler that barely sits on there?
I'm going the really tall kind now, based on.
I was going to say
yeah.
you should make it a gaucho hat, like
Okay.
the guy wore in The Holy Man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
classic.
Could it still be purple velvet?
Yeah.
Absolutely. it could
Oh
be.
yeah. I think the one the guy wore in The Holy Mountain was purple velvet.
That
Awesome.
movie is a classic, and I have yet to actually watch that
Yeah.
while stoned.
It is fucking good, man. Jodorowsky is the
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Dance of Reality is amazing. El Topo, another really good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents got me into El Topo. Like they saw it at the drive-in or whatever back in the day.
So we're
Any
playing.
relation
Anyway.
to Chico?
No, El Topo's like it was the first acid western. So it has a lot of like weird magical realism, but also ordinary western tropes. But like the guy will be riding his horse and they'll just be like people washing their clothes in a stream of blood or something, you know.
Yeah.
I was making a seltzer joke.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm deducting
I
a
want
point
Topo
from
Chico
Chico.
now.
That's minus 1 point.
Oh, crap! There are points again.
But
Tonight.
All right. So, you know that the longer that you out here, it's just going to keep getting colder. No one really knows exactly where the sun is, where it rises and sets, as it somehow meanders across the sky. But you know that this is that time of day being quotations, that it's going to get progressively colder. So, moving into the cathedral is probably going to prevent you from at least some of the frostbite you're sure to have from being exposed.
Well, let's do that. Cathedrals, in my experience, IRL and in game, are where shiny shit is too.
That's true.
Note: this is not an endorsement to rob from cathedrals.
Phrase it.
I mean, the communion plate goes around. Everyone puts in $1. You act like you're putting one in. You just pop.
And then while everyone's looking at the glitch plate, you steal a giant portrait of Jesus.
That's going in the living room, babe. Look at him bleed all over the mound.
Oh, actually, Ian, Charles, quick question.
Yes, sir.
If you were hypothetical, obviously no one here would ever do this. If you were to steal a giant painting of Jesus, like, okay, I understand inverted crucifixes are a thing, but is any picture of Jesus upside down, does that count?
I
Can
don't
it?
think so. Sure.
But
What I would do is put it in the shitter if I were hypothetically speaking in ownership of such a thing. Magnificent.
what if you were
Jesus
to
right
paint
the
over
toilet.
it to put Jesus in drag? And
Even
then put it
better.
upside
Jesus
down.
already wore a dress.
Even
What's
better.
the difference?
Yeah.
Eyeshadow is the difference.
Okay, thank you. I needed that clarification.
Well, then you're just improving it, and like I'd argue, it might be even better if you returned it to the original owners after improving it.
You know,
Hey,
See how long
everybody,
it takes to notice.
the show is over. I'm sorry. We're canceling tonight's show because Ian and I and Charles have to go write Church Crimes, the role-playing game.
No, I'm writing Church Crimes, the TTRPG.
That sounds like
I'm-
something Nat Wilson would want to help with.
Okay, the
Can I write
five
the
of
companion
us are
novel
going
for
to
it?
go write Church Crimes, the role-playing game. Excuse us.
There is a Grant Howitt game that's called Bird Crimes.
I think.
That's one word
Wait a
off.
minute. Oh yeah, because there was a comic book called Sex Criminals, and it was actually very good and not entirely about sex crime. So
No.
yeah. Anyway,
You're standing in front of a cathedral. You can see that the barricade
no, we're
has
going
been partly-
inside.
Yeah, we've gone inside.
We're going
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Guys,
we're
I
going
just said
inside.
declared
passed out on
any
a pile of
actions.
Jesus statues.
I'm following these dudes into the church crime.
Okay. So when you step inside the cathedral, the first thing you do is you stir up a cloud of ash and snow. You can see that all of the pews have been just burnt and raised. In fact, almost everything that's inside the church has been pulled off the walls or destroyed. You could see markings where sconces have been forcibly ripped from the wall. There are bits of little, like, rivulets of metal from where something was melted at one point. The altar itself has been smashed and the pieces scattered, and there are runes that are sprayed all over this room in various lurid paints that all share the same kind of iconography of the Church of the Two-Headed Basilisk. The thing that really takes your notice is that in all of this devastation, there are a lot of foot trails that have made grooves in the ash and snow drifts from the door leading down into a doorway that's to the right of the nave. You can see that there was at one point a door that was across this portal that had been smashed and laying rotting in a heap, which is strange because almost all the other wood in this place has been burned. So that is odd and suspicious, to say the most. So down below here, logically, would be a reliquary or a catacomb of some kind. But surely that is where.
By the way, forbidden notes for Agnar!
So I have a. Let's see. Hang on. I'm checking out my perception skills because I'd like to go / inspect that doorway, but I want to make sure that I could be useful beforehand.
Yours is at a
stealthy.
+2.
Yeah,
And then
you're right.
And then your tests are at 2 less difficulty as you are, like you said, stealthy, which is a feature of the Gutterborn Scum class. So really,
Yeah,
you
you're
say
right.
you got
Okay,
a
so I'm
+4.
gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go / inspect and see if I can't determine how recently it was caved in, what kind of implement was used, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
I don't
Give
know
me a
why I
roll.
would
On the
care what
inside or
sort
the
of implement
outside?
was used, but and it's a D20. So, oh hey, that's a nat 10. It's a
+2 minus 2 to the
minus on
difficulty.
deal?
So when you're looking at this pile of rubble, you see that there were chains, in fact, blessed chains that were wrapped around this door frame at one point. It looks like it was smashed from the inside.
Okay, I share that knowledge with my fellas here, and make it clear that I probably don't want to fuck with anything that can smash through a doorway when it's pissed off and wants to get out.
Since you rolled so well, give me one more of those presence checks, if you will.
Sure. That one is an 11. Let's see.
So that'd be 13. You notice right in front of the door frame, there is a skull that is set in a niche. It looks like it has been placed there due to the lack of dust and cobwebs around it. And it seems it makes your survival senses go berserk.
Okay. I'm gonna tell my compatriots, like, I think that skull is watching us. I'm pretty sure it's watching us. I don't like it watching us.
I mean, it is fairly certain that it could be watching us after all. There are a lot of undead. That's why we have Sumner here. So he kills them, re-kills them. Re-detonator, my friend. No, we don't need to worry. He's
I've got it. He rehomes the dead.
Oh, like a relocation program.
If we're concerned about that, if we're concerned about that door over there, any professional could tell you that it already broke its way out. We're pretty safe to go in. It's everywhere but in there. I'm just.
But is it in here
Now-
with us?
You're talking about where the skull is?
Or whatever broke out? Do we think the skull is what broke out of that door?
So you see that this is a passageway that leads deeper, and this skull is in a niche, like a little ledge that's just inside the door, perhaps maybe where a candelabra or maybe a lantern would be put. It is put there in such a way that it seems to be some type of, I don't know, like you said, those eye sockets seem to be gazing out as if perhaps being like a sentry or maybe just some type of weird warding to spook people, like would-be robbers, people who would commit church crimes.
I think it's a Merkborg version of the ADT sign that you see in some windows. Like, whether it's an actual security system or not, we're damn sure supposed to think it is.
Can I ask an environmental question?
Lots of plastic, it will break apart and become microplastics, and that's most ADT signs and stickers.
Orpha, what's your question?
The oil will go on forever and ever. Don't worry about it.
the party
So-
never ends.
Are there any fist-sized rocks in this church?
There is all kinds of rubble all over the place. You can find lots of things that would fit that bill.
Okay, excellent. Can I use my slingshot to fire a fist-sized rock at that skull?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make me a range check. So that's going to be a presence check, and the difficulty is going to be a little bit less since that is a stationary target.
Which one's my presence check? Which dice am I using? Is that a...
For you, Torfil, your presence is at a 0. So it would be a flat d20 roll.
Perfect. Okay. 5.
Okay, so you fire a rock past it, and as soon as it passes by its field of vision, its teeth begin to chatter. And as soon as it passes by it completely goes off in the distance, the teeth stop chattering.
That's interesting.
That is
Now-
interesting.
Now, I've heard that some wizards place their soul into skulls, and then those skulls are wizards. The skulls themselves are wizards. Do we need to kill the door? Is the door some sort of undead?
The door has been
I am
smashed
posing
to
questions.
smithereens.
One way or the other, security system or son of a lich. Like, I think we should. Well, I don't know. Could be asking too much of our Slayer to just like run it in through and twain with his broadsword or something.
I believe I have a hand axe. Thank you
Even
very
better.
much.
Yeah. That'll probably be better.
Axes are made for cutting wood. Doors are made of wood. I'm sorry, but right tool, right job.
This guy's the most useless slayer. You're only gonna chop wood on this adventure?
The door is made of wood. We wanted the room, right?
The door again has been smashed and is in a pile of heaps that was
You just walk
previously
through it.
investigated by Third.
Right tool,
So
right
the-
job. I didn't bring my killing sword on this adventure, so it'll kindling only.
That's right, John. You wrote a campaign. Are you ready for the peaceful, loving version of Whispers of the Dead Saint?
Y'all
I'm re-
haven't
hey, I'm
technically
ready
even
for
stepped
anything, baby.
inside the dungeon yet. You're just standing outside the dungeon.
All right, so yeah, I grab my gear, and this is what we do. We go into dark places, we fight things, and we just kind of we go fuck them up. So I would kick the door open, but it's already in pieces, and I can't cut it up now. So I just yell surprise.
So you walk into the threshold of a passageway downward, and you scream surprise to the skull, to the darkness. What? Can you specify what you're doing?
Wait, is the skull
like
This
to
is
surprised?
going
imagine that he-
perfectly.
The skull
I like to
is in a
imagine that he
niche
left-
within the door, like just inside the passageway that's leading downward.
I like to imagine that he just leapt through the doorway and yelled surprise. Like,
That's
It
what
makes me
that's what
so
I thought.
happy.
But is the
I-
skull,
This
I-
is,
I-
this
I-
is going
I-
exactly how I
I-
envisioned it.
It's helpful to know exactly what you're doing because the action you're taking may or may not have consequence depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So let's reset that scene. There's going to be some type of spraying
All right.
surprise.
I'm not allowed to yell surprise. I'm not allowed to cut up wood. All right, so
I didn't say you
grab the
couldn't.
skull.
I'm asking, what are you doing?
Ian follows the improv school of no. Instead
No.
of yes and.
That is no. I'm trying
No,
to tell.
go fuck yourself.
Are you going down this thing? Are you saying surprise in front of the doorway? All I heard is you're going and then yelling surprise. I'm trying to guess, where are you doing that?
yell
Is
at the
anyone
skull.
else
Let's
on
I,
yell
here?
yell,
at the-
I grab the skull, I look
Okay.
into its little empty void
There
of
we
eye
go.
sockets, and I yell, surprise! And then I
It's-
smash it.
Opens its mouth, and instead of saying surprise back, it just screams at the top of its non-existent spectral lungs. It's a high-pitched screaming screech that makes all of these loose bricks around the cathedral begin to rattle inside its shattered mortar. And in response to that, you hear the deep wailing coming from down below in the passageway. I need someone to roll me D3.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's a D3.
I got one-
But
I got one at hand.
I'm picturing this skull doing like the most high pitch, just like pitch perfect, like high C note scream. It's like the funniest thing I've imagined in my head all day. So thank you for that.
And then I also need Torfel, roll me a D20.
6.
6 of your teeth loosen in their gums and itch horribly. And Summer, what did you say you rolled for your D3?
2.
2. So coming up from below are these sounds of wailing that reverberate through the hall. You see coming around the corner, instantly you know what they are as a slayer of the unliving, but these are wraiths. Their touch sucks the energy or almost the soul out of a body, and they come wailing up in response to the skull's high-pitched screaming. So you have about one action before these close in on you.
You guys ever messed with a wraith before?
Nope.
You're about to.
Do they have any corporeal element at all, or are they just like spectral presence?
Well, wait till one touches you and you're going to find out. They look
All right, let's see what
they
I got
look
here.
translucent. Oh, of them
Yeah.
look like they're dressed as maybe some type of priests.
Oh, hey. Maybe we could. I don't know. I mean, would a mace even work on a ray?
I mean, I feel like.
So, are you going to do something with your free action there, Thurg, or are you going to let these close in on you?
I'm thinking about it.
I'm sorry, not Thurg. Excuse me. I meant to say Summer. Summer has the free action. Pardon.
Oh, okay.
I was really thinking I would have some more like. I'm just thinking too much of Castlevania. Not that that should have any weight on this game at all. Okay, I don't have any holy water to throw at them. So yeah, I would assume having done this type of work before, I've got hand axes. I'm gonna swing at them with my hand axe.
All right.
I'm hoping that it's already been pre-coated with holy water or something.
All right. Now, these things are very swift. They're difficult to hit, and they always win initiative. So you get this 1 round advantage since you are Slayer of the Unliving and kind of can anticipate it.
That's bullshit.
Sure, you wrote this module.
No, whoever designed that's an asshole. That's
Race.
bullshit.
This is
Well, John,
So,
take it up with the author and let him know.
Oh, thank God, I've never liked
He
him.
does every day.
I want to see your Facebook war that you're gonna have with him, or Twitter. I don't know.
I'm gonna make Charles start it.
okay. So I'm going ahead and Summer, make your attack, and then these wraiths are going to come into their full spectral glory.
I believe that's a dirty 20.
Okay.
Nice.
So you throw yourself at them with your 2 hand axes and slash out at them. So go ahead and roll me your d6 damage.
Now you said both my axes. Does that mean I can get another d6?
No.
Well, the girl can try. All right. So that was.
I thought you said you had 2 hand axes. I was just doing a yes and that you said that I didn't do.
I know, and I was trying to milk that just a smidge. 2.
Ian, it's too late. We already know you hate creativity and friendship.
You got
Well, who
me.
doesn't hate friendship? Yeah, I don't think this is going to go well for us. Like, we don't have a spellcaster amongst us,
Well,
do we?
Yes, you actually do. And what was the damage did you roll there, Summer? Okay, 2. Thank you very much. So you slash out with your axe, and it bites in, and you see a bit of its phantasmal body rip and tear. It's almost there like a sheet of paper, somehow 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional at the same time as you slash out at it. The other one is both of them are quite nonplussed by this whole thing. As what else? As a quick aside, what did you do with that skull? Since you said you pulled out your axe.
Oh yeah,
Or axes.
I popped it right in the down to turn into a drinking cup. You know, the other drink.
Yeah.
Okay, so you drop the skull with the. But you're saying for a drinking skull, not to shatter it.
I'll come back for it later.
Okay. Skull is still screaming this entire time. Great. So these
Can you
wraiths
tell us what it's screaming? Like, what is it saying?
We should all do a 4-part
Much
harmony of
louder.
that. So
I was hoping
the,
maybe it was doing a disco rendition of Comfortably Numb.
you have to replay the recording backwards. So you have 2 of these that are closing in around you, Summer. I need you to roll me 2 defense rolls.
So my agility, would that be the modifier for defense on this?
That's correct.
Cool. That sucks for me. First one's a 9.
Yeah?
The second one's a 13.
Okay. So, and that's with your agility modifier or no?
Yeah, I subtracted the 1, Ian. I can count.
A lot of you don't do your stat stuff, and I have to do it for you, and it makes it 1 point makes a difference here. So
I
both of you-
like sassy Paschke. That's a new look, and I like it.
So happy
So both of these wraiths close in on you, and you feel their icy hands slip into your body. Ice cold
Ooh.
energy radiates from your body, and you can see bits of your soul being physically sucked out of your body through their touch. Roll me 2d4.
That's 4. Yeah, that's
Total?
a 1. 4 and a 1.
Okay, so that's 5 points of damage. Well, I should take that back. We should do those individually since you do have armor. So for your first, so you have fur armor. So one of those attacks is going to be completely soaked, minus D2 on that 4 damage that you took.
Okay.
What was the soak on that?
What?
I can't. What?
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry, your noise suppression sometimes cuts you out.
Yeah, that happened. Okay, so I took 2 damage. Yes.
Okay. Yes, that is correct. And from both of those attacks, you feel your strength actually lessens. So you feel your strength and presence and agility are reduced by 2 for this entire fight.
Okay.
All right. So Skull is still screaming. Both of these wraiths have made their attack. We're going to do top of the initiative in order of, since I guess we should do it by the actual one on screen. We're going to go in the order of Agner, followed by Thurig and Torful, and then Summer in last. Skull is screaming. These wraiths are literally sucking your friend dry through their touch.
Nice.
And there is this maniacal smile that crests both of these wraiths.
First of all, a small thing, not a big deal. It's not Agnar, it's Agnar.
I did write down the 3 exclamation points on my notes. I will have you know.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to pronounce. In
It
honestly,
is.
if I tried it,
It's tonal.
It's a palate.
That was a
thing,
good
I think.
joke.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a special shepherd's crook that is specifically good at dealing at it's a magic weapon. Ergo, I think it'll work well on the raid.
Hey, John, guess what one of those is called? And you learn this when you're a Catholic, and then you read it in Warhammer 40K and don't remember the word.
Roses.
Yes, and for what was my running joke with 40K was, the fuck is a Crozius? Every time I'd read it, I was like, the fuck is a Crozius? And like,
Yeah, it's my Croji. I'm gonna use my Croji on what order did we come down the stairs towards these wraiths at?
I believe only one person actually started descending the stairs, the one that screamed surprise and took the skull.
I'm going to let whoever's going to deal. I'm going to go in. Agnar rushes in, and I'm going to clock one of the wraiths upside the head with my ding dang.
Your ding dang.
Agnar,
Make your ding dang roll.
every time that Agnar pronounces his name, Babette opens one eye and looks around in vague fear.
I love you, Babette.
Yes.
I rolled a
Locking in
17.
muscle memory.
Okay, so you feel your Crozius begin to reverberate in your hand as all of the inscribed prayers on it illuminate as you connect with the wraith. Roll me damage.
Cool.
I rolled max damage on both those D4s, so that's 8 points of damage right to the wraith's fucking head.
So it crumples a bit, just like a piece of paper, and that smile that is kind of crested its face is still there, even though it's slightly crumpled. In fact, you think it's spreading more.
I wonder if I did some asshole puzzle thing on this fight. That'd be an asshole thing to do. Well, I don't remember if I did, so let's keep the party going, gents.
All right. So that wraith is still has
I'm
its
just
icy
picturing-
hands inside of you,
picturing-
Summer.
Yeah.
I'm picturing John designing an escape room and then being locked inside of it and just being like,
Shit.
huh, well, I'll be damned.
Who's the asshole that designed this?
Should have hit a key somewhere, but nope.
That's
It's like
Guys,
if
that
John,
is-
it's if John made and invented the lament configuration.
Yeah, he did.
those Cenobites are
I-
never fucking getting out. By the way,
This wasn't a good prize at all.
I just,
my limit configuration is just a Tupperware that I wrote "Do not open" on.
Oh, that's what you called your penis. All right. So next in initiative is you, Thurg.
Oh shit!
that wasn't a very good prize at all. That one's gonna stay with me. Oh, I just rewatched the new one last night, and it was not a good prize. Okay, I am going to swing a femur at that screaming skull.
And as a notice, I think in the chortling, you've also moved your mic pretty away from your face hole. This is a why.
Yeah.
All right.
How's it now?
Better. All right.
Okay.
So
All right.
you said you were launching
Yeah,
yourself
I'm
as an
gonna-
attack.
Yeah, I'm going to take a whack at that screaming skull with my femur.
All right. Bone meets bone. So go ahead and make
Nice.
me a strength check. It's going to be pretty easy
Doc.
because you're just smashing a skull on the floor, but you're doing it in the presence of these wraiths.
Oh, and I roll 3, which isn't helpful, and I have a 0 strength, which also isn't helpful. Or is it a negative stat on
That
strength?
is a pretty bad roll. The question
Minus
is...
2. Yeah,
you've-
that's a.
Mhm.
Let's see. So that's
You-
a
That's
grand
better what you
roll.
can do.
That
So,
is a dirty
you-
1. Yeah.
That's correct. So you feel that you feel the skeins of fate being pulled pretty tight here. The question is, do you want to use an omen to re-roll that bad roll, or do you want to keep it and accept your fate as is?
I want to use an omen because I have the special ability that gives me a 50% chance of keeping it.
All right.
So I am going to
What
reroll
prayer
that.
do you say as you burn an omen, hoping that you have not worn out your luck? Who do you or what do you pray to?
Nurgle, full of gurgles. Come and help me. That's all that rhymes with Nurgle. And it's a 15, so that's
Okay.
minus 2 for 13 total. I don't think
Okay.
this is gonna go well for me.
All right, then roll a die, call odds are even, and see if you keep your omen.
Let's see. That's a 6. We'll call it even.
No, you have to guess odds
You've
are
got
even
it-
and
you've
then
got it.
roll.
Or flip
Oh,
a
I'm
coin.
sorry.
Like,
Yeah, I was thought you were gonna pick odd or even on whether I succeed or fail. Say
Oh, I
if
see.
it's an
I
even, I
trust you
keep
to write your
the
own
omen.
fate.
Yeah, and it is an even, so I do keep omen. It's a
Okay.
4.
So you bring your femur down, and instantly the teeth shoot out of the skull. It smashes into shards and dust, and the screaming stops. It echoes for a few seconds, bouncing off these dilapidated walls, and the raves lose interest. Those smiles fade off, turning into grimaces. One wraith that has a crumpled head looks at the completely unfazed, unaffected wraith. There's something that passes between them that almost looks like a shrug, but that seems like too human of a gesture for these undead things, and they just fade away.
Hey John, I
fuck
solved
you,
your puzzle.
John. Fuck you, John. Cool.
Technically, what John wrote was a living skull set in a crevice. It screams to attract D3 wraiths.
Yeah, cool. Good job. Fun game you made,
So-
asshole.
Which wraiths
when
are
you're
really
in that
bad. Just one wraith is no good.
So John, when you're in that escape room, give me a call, buddy.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna be in there with me, bro.
And that's how we both died.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what other ass hattery I put in here. Fuck.
All right, so you feel that strength, like little bits of your soul that were ripped out by the wraith, flood back into you. So you're still standing here, basically in the entrance to these. Well, whatever this is, if it's a reliquary, if it is a catacomb.
Okay. I got nothing.
Okay. Who would like to go first and descend the rest of these stairs and enter into this place?
I suggest one of our mercenaries because they're mercenaries and we hired them to do that sort of shit.
I'm sneaky. I'll do it.
All right, I'll be right behind you. And I just want it noted that at some point during the last fight, I added a belt that is completely covered, like encrusted in rhinestones, and the large belt buckle depicts an entire tropical scene with a flamingo beneath a palm tree.
That makes me very
You're
happy.
You're slowly building towards something truly amazing. I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you descend down the flight of stairs, and quickly it turns to, well, it's kind of hard to tell what cardinal directions are where. It turns to your left, which you think would go north, and you see that with a fading light that's coming down the stairs, it maybe goes 10 or 15 feet before it turns again to the left, heading west. Any of you cracking a light source? It is pitch black down here.
You know what? I sure the fuck
I-
didn't.
I have a bear trap. Will that help?
If you put some flint in
Well-
there and you put in your wood, which we have plenty of upstairs,
Would.
we could in theory start a fire.
We'll
Well, I've
assume
got
that
a
you will
fl-
make a fire because, Summer, you actually have a magnesium strip, so we will just do a
I
montage where you
thought Summer had a
engineer.
magnesium deficiency. I'm sorry.
Go to hell.
All right. Thank you. I work at a Staples. What's your point?
Okay. So we'll say that you do have a light source for narrative sake, and because you've got the basic things to actually make one, so you have a sufficient amount of light if you want to have light as you go through this place. So if you make those turns, you see that you are looking down a long corridor. From here, without advancing further, you can tell by your flickering light source that somewhere up ahead on the left, there seems to be a passageway or a door frame on the south wall. There also seems to be one even further down the corridor on the right. And you're not sure if this corridor dead ends or if there's something at the end of the light of your flickering torch that you've made.
I just want a linear dungeon. Why? Okay,
It is-
sorry, my bad. Pokes his head over Sneaky's shoulder and is like, well, actually, you know what, Ian, can I as I am a holy man, can I make a presence check to kind of guess my way around? Like, where would I hide the reliquary if I was a crumbling edifice to a heretical cult?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that
background
is-
use.
That's an 11.
So when you're looking at this place, it's despite being upstairs where the Inquisition had stripped all traces of identity, here there are odd markings. There are old frescoes that look to be mostly have been peeled away. You kind of see some of these markings on the south face of this wall to your left side. And you're not liking some of the imagery that you're seeing that's looking at the passageway that's on the south. You see, as you get close to it, there's a wrought iron door, and there's a lot of noise coming behind it, perhaps the sound of fighting. Then you see by the frescoes by it, there's something, well, it's hard to all put together, perhaps some type of... You would say almost looks like an arena, but that wouldn't make much sense. But yet again, this is an odd cult. Markings coming down the hallway ahead of you, straight ahead, seem to indicate scenes of, well, scholastic enterprise.
Oh, that's
There's
the way I
nothing
want
that
to go.
really indicates anything to the passageway to the north. There's no markings. It just keeps going.
Yeah, I'm going to point towards the scholarly murals. Like that, I think that's where we should be heading, actually.
I trust.
If I were a gambling man, and I am.
I trust Agnar because the priests were always the best organized, and effective gang of thieves in the whole city. So
That's true.
Okay, so are you taking point then?
Yeah, I probably
letting the
would.
holy
I'd probably
man
get
go.
so
Yeah.
excited.
Okay, so you keep going down this corridor. Eventually, it ends in a left-hand turn heading south, and those murals keep going on. You see pictures of people studying scrolls, maybe, I'm assuming it's religious, and things that look like tomes. Why someone would paint this down here is a little bit uncertain, but you're kind of getting an odd feeling about it. The hairs on the back of your arms and hands begin to stick up. The passageway goes for another 50 feet or so before it turns and it stops at a door on your left or on the west. It is a wooden door. It looks like there's been lots of scratching by the handle.
we've got
Got
someone who's good
wood.
with wooden doors.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You do
I believe
notice.
Paschke is saying he would like to chop the door.
You want to chop
Are
the
you-
door, bud?
Looking at the door at all before you chop it, or your chopping instincts taking over?
Why would we start looking at it now?
I grab my axe. I go over the door. I get ready to say surprise, and then I examine it.
Well, you just stop and you take a second, and you can see there is a little bit of light pooling from underneath the door. The scratches that are along the door are deep grooves near the door handle, but then at the very bottom of the door, there's lighter scratching, something thinner.
Like a cat wants inside.
Probably a
Hear me
cat.
out. Hear me out. It's a big cat on a smaller cat's shoulders.
Ooh, I like that.
So we want to. Do we actually want to chop the door down, or do we want to do any other investigation?
I would like to try to open the door.
Why do you?
Are you going to let him open it? You've got your chopping hand out.
Why do you do that?
Look, I will agree to let you try the door, but if it is not locked, I'm taking this hand down. I don't know if that came out right or wrong. I may be on some medication for my throat.
Fair.
You remind me of Clamps from Futurama. I'm one of the Clamps.
Yeah.
The clamps. My character trait is fur armor and an axe. My name's Summer.
All right.
So
So
what
you
medication you're on, but it's the good stuff.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
America.
and our international viewers, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Except for New Zealand. You know what you did.
So
I would like to know
go
what New
open-
Zealand did, actually.
That's
You
between
go-
New Zealand and me.
Fair.
So you go to open the door and you find, well, I'm not sure if it is to your surprise or not, but it is unlocked. Of course, being an old wooden door, it does squeak very loudly and ominously, and takes a little bit of force, but you are able to push the door open, and it opens into what looks to be like it was once an ornate study. There's remnants of an old tattered rug, upon which that there is a writing desk. A figure sits luxuriously in a completely rotten chair. Their skin itself is both rotten and pulled tight and desiccated across their bones. Their eyes are completely gone, but they seem to be very engrossed in the book that they're reading, and it appears to be bound in some kind of weird flesh. The bookshelves that are all around him, all the books seem to be moldering and falling apart. I say he, but you're not exactly sure what gender this person was, if there was a person, looks up with vacant eye sockets and says, hello. And closes the book, and it makes a little bit of a squelching sound. Maybe it whimpers.
Nice. The book whimpers?
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, hello. Good tidings.
You look to be a man who appreciates literature. And he points to the books all around him. Your companion, manservant, does not seem to be so scholastically minded. Do tell him to be careful with that axe.
Someone, please be careful with your axe. I know that books are in fact made of wood and trees.
You should not call
but
them
they
that.
do not need chopping.
You do
No
know,
chopping the books, my friend.
Summer, as you are a person that is able to do spell casting, you notice as soon as the door opens, you feel all of your magical prowess gets severed. I mean, like all of your ability to even tap into
fuck you,
your
John.
powers is completely cut, which is basically you feel uncomfortable, like you were
Bullshit.
stuck in the shadow of a shadow.
I'm gonna.
What the fuck?
I feel,
I'm gonna-
Paschke, I feel like you should have been awarding John points for every time that he got like super mad at himself tonight. for
Yeah.
I'm
his
gonna
own
start.
dungeon
I'm gonna
design.
start him off at a +5.
Yeah, good.
Just,
You did
Here's
start
the
off with
thing.
self-deprecation at the very beginning.
but I don't approve of self-deprecation, so that's actually a -1.
Ooh.
And you have to stop doing it for yourself.
I've been trying really hard.
Whoa, hey, that's negative 20 points to Ian for trying to tell us what to do.
All right, that's
Oh.
negative 20 points for
As your
Ian. Got that
dad, I
written
can
down.
tell you.
Okay, so that's making that negative 15 or no, yeah, 15 now.
Wait, guys, you can't
So-
just go giving each other and subtracting points. This is anarchy.
You're losing
Weird.
5 points. I wrote it down. It's right there. You see that?
Anyway, okay, I've instructed my friendo to not chop up any of the books as requested.
This
So
time.
you have, it looks to be other companions with you. Do tell them to come in here. There's enough seats for everyone. The seats in question are very brittle and look like they'd fall apart if you try to sit in them.
I just want to note that being clumsy and dull-witted and incapable of understanding scrolls, I am really intimidated by this room. So I jingle miserably toward my chair since I now have on a pair of boots festooned with jingly
Yes.
anklets and
Yes.
also spurs.
Nice.
That are not functional
1,000
in any
times
way.
yes.
They're just there for the aesthetic.
Yeah, they go with the hat.
Yeah,
The,
they go with the hat.
Awesome.
I
the
just want
hats,
to
spurs.
encourage my friends and let them know I have no idea what's going on with this room, and whatever happens is about to happen.
The figure
yes,
pulls out what
everyone
looks
be careful, but come in.
I'm gonna actually try and sit in one of the chairs. Should I roll to see if I break it?
Yeah, roll me an agility check. The
Got it.
figure pulls out of a velvet sack a pair of
I broke it.
spectacles and puts them on just over his vacant eyes and then looks at you a lot more closer, Torfil. Are you some kind of royalty to be festooned and bedecked in such jewelry? I do not recognize the markings of this exquisite clothing. And turns as you break your chair, Thurig, and says, clumsy dolts, get out of here.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, that guy
I'll
flipped on
go
us like an
sulk by the
Oblivion
door.
So
character.
in this room, as a mind, there is a door to the south between two bookcases, and you also have the door that you came from behind you. Which door are you leaving through?
I'll go deeper. I'm real dumb.
Okay.
I'm on my own.
I
I
have a
can't. I
bad
can't swing
feeling
a
about
weapon to save my life.
I don't.
Is he?
I don't feel it's as good of a plan. I don't like the shadows. Going off of my player character gut here.
As a Slayer of the Unliving, the fact that you're in presence of a lich is probably a little bit more disconcerting. But all right, we'll quickly handle what's going to happen to you, Charles, and then we're going to zip back here to the room. So the first thing that I need you to do is tell me odds or even.
I always like them odd.
All right.
So let's see. And I rolled an even, so I'm guessing I failed over that one.
Oh, I just needed you to tell me that because I'm rolling for once. Great. So you go to the door to the south and shut it behind you. And you see that the corridor extends 5 feet in front of you, turns to the right, goes about another 15 feet, and then turns back down to the south. There's a little bit of a flickering, pulsating light coming from around the corner, and there is a weird, susurrous, moaning sound, like slightly sibilant.
Oh, that sounds like my scene. Yeah. Snake
So-
orgy, you bet.
Back to the parlor, the lich, as maybe your friend might point out to you, then it says, now that brute is gone, shall we debate? And you hear like the sound of like a tongue clicking against teeth, but clearly there is no tongue in this person's mouth. I have been just dying to, he seems to chuckle at that, to discuss the theosophical matters of Saint Silvic compared to, well, the early writings of Necrobel's oracles. So do indulge me in such ecumenical discussions as such, if you want to pick
I
a
would be
side.
delighted. Yeah. Apparently my guy Agnar is just kind of a ding dong because he's like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's do this. He is all for it.
All right, well, roll me a presence check.
That is a sorry. Oh, that is a 16.
Apparently, you can hold your own in whatever this topic is. You're not even exactly sure, but you're saying things, regurgitating bits of sermons and things from churches
too
you have
real,
looted and
Ian.
defiled. What?
Too real.
And meanwhile, so Torfil, the undead figure and your companion seem to be engaged in some type of very odd discussion. Your teeth are angry and they mutter to themselves as they're flapping their jaws. Anything that you want to do?
You know, I'm feeling incredibly out of place in this conversation. I have absolutely nothing to add to it. I'm rooting in my bag at this point. trying to find something to make me feel better, and I will settle on a fringed vest with a sheen zebra print, and then like
Nice.
fur lined with fringe.
So
Without the benefit of eyeballs, you can't tell if the undead figure is turning a side eye and checking that out at the same time as debating, but you feel a little bit of a chill go over you as if maybe he is gazing at you at the same time.
Oh, I don't like that attention. I have to shop.
You are not wearing the sort of outfit that says, I do not like that attention.
This is how I deal with discomfort.
That's fair.
So around the Thurig, what are sorry, next? I keep getting my Summer. What are you doing in all of this?
Summer is realizing that we're talking to a lich, and that we're like my spells don't work. I feel like a lich is kind of this tier of bad guy, and I might be a great actual character if Charles Paschke was not a little out of it right now. I think this character would be better, but not as good as a lich. And whatever people are already bugged out, I am going to just like politely nod my head and try to scoot out the door I came in. And just
Bug out. I was told to hit the bricks because I broke a chair.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that he's talking to everyone else and isn't going to realize I'm trying to just leave because this will not go. We're going to get out logicked, and he's going to trap us here forever. And I don't have a good way to communicate that to you guys without letting him know.
You're able to slip back into the relative safety question mark of the passageway you came from. You can go back towards those other two passageways that lead more relative north and south in this place, or you can turn tail and run out of here and let your friends get all, leave them to the wolves.
I am going to say to our host, Lord. Unless, did he give us a name?
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
Okay, no problem. My lord, this has been incredibly illuminating and delightful. But my companions and I are here to attempt to find any of the lost knowledge of Saint Skelvic and make sure it is not completely lost to the world.
He laughs at that, and it's a dry rustle of leaves over too many graves, and points to all the shelves around him and says, "But, my boy, I have distilled all of that knowledge into this book." And every time he pats that tome, it whimpers and squeals, and you think the skin on the book is writhing just a little bit.
And that is incredible, but I would not seek to part your book from you.
You're definitely not.
No, absolutely. So I am hoping that I can find his other writings, any other tombs that would allow me to study without taking from you, obviously.
I think that you should stay right there, and I will teach you everything there is to know about Saint Skelvic. His voice gets a little bit more menacing. So as you are in this passageway, Thurg, that susurrus gets a little bit louder, and that faint light is getting a little bit, well, brighter is relative, but it seems to be getting closer.
Someone's burning something cool. Yeah, I'm okay. Let's keep going forward. I'm curious to meet my glowing new friend.
Okay. So as you turn the corner, you see, well, you've heard of them, but you've never seen it. It has the body of a emaciated, perhaps dead man, but the head looks to be like a giant lantern. but its light is very dim and flickering, and it almost seems to be coughing. And as it does so, the light sputters a bit, as if threatening to be completely extinguished. Roll for me, if you will, 2d6. And
You got
add
it.
your presence to that. Oh,
That
yeah,
is
which is
8.
+2.
And my presence is +2, so
Plus
that's
2, so
10.
that is 10. Okay, great. So, as you are, the thing, when it looks at you, there's a little bit of an extra, like, flicker of light, like just a brief little chirp of light, and it ambles, almost waddles towards you, as if it seems very tired and lethargic, but is happy to see you.
That's intriguing. So I'll walk up to it and say, "Hello, how are you doing there, buddy?"
It doesn't say anything. As you see, there's no mouth, but you hear the sound of, like, again, rustling leaves come from within its lantern head. And it looks to be like looking you up and down as if desperate for something.
I'm looking at my inventory and I don't think I have anything like oil or fuel of any kind. I've got some cognac I could give it. That would probably help.
When you
Yeah.
pat your flask, it seems very, very excited.
Yeah, I give
kind
it
of
the whole thing.
claps its hands together.
Yeah, I can have my flask of rot gut brandy. That'll probably burn real nice.
Yeah, it opens the top of its head and just dumps the flask in, and the light goes back to normal, to full. And the light is very cheerful. So, Torfel, you are uncomfortable, not wanting this kind of odd attention. The Lich is getting a little bit more menacing and insistent that Agnar stay and debate.
I'm gonna bite the Lich's book.
All right, so you just dive in, teeth first, and take a bite.
Bite
roll me your
first and ask
damage.
questions later.
So it's a D6 for damage. 5.
5. Couple things happen. You're used to biting a lot of things with your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm. I bite all kinds of stuff.
Bite all kinds of things. You know the meat on this book is wrong. You knew it's wrong even before the book starts screaming at you, or before the Lich starts to curse at you in a unknown tongue that makes your ears bleed. You recognize, much to your horror, that the skin that this book is bound in is goblin flesh. You maybe have 24
Bummer.
hours to figure out what you're going to do about that before you become a goblin. Your teeth, on the other hand, are real fucking happy that you've got something to do. And they're just grinding it into a paste.
That's what the itchy teeth thing was.
As soon as Torfi lashes forward to take a bite, I am running out of the room, following Summer.
Oh, but you guys didn't check.
Well,
out
you're left
Summer
holding the
yet.
book.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
All right.
So we're back to Summer now.
Yeah, I will have you two exchange around. I'm going to snap back to Torfel. Let's see what happens to Torfel, and then we'll revert back to Thurig.
Sorry, Torfel.
Well, let's find out.
So what are the two of you doing?
So Summer was like outside having like a little session. I can't leave them. I can't. I have to go back in there and say, no, that's a lich. It's the most powerful thing. No, it's the most powerful thing. I can't defeat that. I don't know how to fight a lich. My powers did not work. I have 2 scrolls. I only have the 2 scrolls, but I can use the scrolls from out here. I'm going back.
I run up beside him. That's a fucking lich.
Yeah, that's why I left.
We can't fight that.
I got these 2 scrolls.
It is a scroll. It is like magic incarnate. No.
But
We leave.
I was just thinking that maybe we go back.
No, what? The teethy, our toothsome friend. He bit its book.
So maybe it will get the powers of the book.
I do not think. My suggestion is
thought, I was the one to bug out first, and I regret it now.
Sure.
I've had the 2 seconds to think about this.
2 very long seconds.
Yeah.
But do you have a?
I respect you. You're my friend. We've been doing this together for a while. I don't want to die is the thing.
Me either.
YOLO.
And while I respect mercenary number 1, we do hire mercenaries so that we aren't the ones that die.
And if they die, we don't have to pay them.
We don't have to pay them is the thing.
Also, my voice.
Oh man, mercenaries should always get paid up front. It's just not fair.
Mhm. Well, then they'll just take it off our corpses after.
Yeah. And well, no, because
Yeah.
I ain't going back in that room.
Not with the lich, no.
No. That's the lich's money.
All right, so sounds like the timeline will consist of us just leaving and
See ya.
finish the game.
Okay, so are you the 2 of you going deeper into the?
Did Summer go the same direction as our sneaky friend?
Nope.
No, Summer went back out, and John went back out as well. So the 2 of them are saying they're going to beat feet from the place entirely, even, and leave Toofy. I'm going to call you instead of Turfy or whatever it is. Toofy's going to be eating the book, and I'm making friends with the Wickhead, and these 2 cowardly fellows are just bugging out.
We could. So here's the thing, Summer. We could either look around the rest of this catacombs, right, and see if there's anything else worth getting, or we can bugger out because there's a lich.
I mean, I was gonna go back right before you came out here.
Torpy's dead. I don't know what to tell you, bro. No, I don't say that. I say, look, if we go back there, there's a chance that we could save Torphy because the lich will be distracted killing one of us.
Okay, but I'll save Torphy, the person we've known for all of 12 hours and some change.
Yes.
He was still clamped onto this book like a chihuahua.
I hope you're just like Babette with a chew toy.
I will
Let's just like
flash.
drop it.
I will flash forward to Torfel while the 2 of you are still making your plan.
Okay.
But Torfel, you have your teeth in this book. Book is screaming, and this figure is screaming. Roll for me we're going to see who goes first. Roll me a d6 and add your agility.
Let's see. So it's a 7, or sorry, 5. It's 4 + 1.
Okay, fantastic. So you are used to biting things, and this doesn't slow you down at all. You get to act before the lich does. So you have 1 precious round. What do you do?
Good.
And the other thing is, do you tell your teeth to release their bite and hold on the book?
I mean, I'm goblin fodder now. I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to continue to
Eat the
bite
whole
book.
fucking.
Yeah, just chew. Just eat the
I
book.
fucking love this.
That actually could be a very viable solution to the
Like
problem.
I don't know what I wrote here, but I do know that my common sense would say, well, obviously I need to destroy the book.
So,
Like what they don't tell you in lore is that, you know, they tell you blah blah blah. If you kill the vampire, then all of its victims revert to non-vamp. If you eat the vampire, you actually revert to being a double non-vampire.
That's nice.
Hmm.
Like that.
That's how Twilight ended.
oh,
I would watch it if it had. Oh yeah, so in the movie, Bella just eats Edward. It's really disturbing and very hot.
But it cures the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Baby?
yeah, it does.
Oh no!
Fucking God, leave it to a Mormon to write a vampire book and drag babies into it. You know?
I hate that so much.
so you cut your teeth deep in chapter 1, chewing this book. So I will let you chew this book as a free action. Assuming you're not going to be able to use your bite action for anything else. What would you like to do with your other portion of your action?
I'm going to flail wildly and try to get the book out of the Lich's hand as I'm biting it.
Oh, it is not in his hand. It was just on the table.
Oh, okay.
So you
All
just like sharked into it, pulled back with the book, and now you are babbetting the tome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to bolt.
Which direction? To the south or to
Towards
the east?
Towards my friends, they're to the south, right?
Which ones are your friend?
Oh.
Well, the single friend
I
or
might
the
or
two
might
people
not
that
be
just
coming back for you.
I do love the idea of us arguing about going back to save her, and she just bolts past us.
She
Like, oh.
probably has overheard this entire discussion
Yeah.
you've had. So the question is, do you
Fair
want to go
enough.
towards the two numbskulls that are debating leaving you for dead, or do you want to chance it and go south?
I'm going south.
All right.
Way to
I'll
So,
stop winning this
party.
book.
So you are nimble on your feet, just like a dog, and you're trying to get something out of its mouth. You are faster than the lich.
Drop
It
it.
barely misses you as it reaches out its like corpse-like hands towards you. You just dodge out of the way and head to the south. You see what looks to be like, well, the hallway is very bright as you are looking at a fully inflamed Wickhead who, as you turn here and you've got the book, it hisses a bit and then looks at you, Thurig, and it pantomimes, basically trying to figure out if that's friend or foe.
I just
Pulls out
do
a
like,
dagger and be like, do
friend.
you want me to kill? No.
And I go, no, friend. Yeah, and I introduce them. Torfy, this is Wickhead. Wickhead, Torfy.
I wave because I'm still mowing down on
Yeah,
the book.
chewing on the book. Yeah. Well, there's 3 of us. We can play like what's a good card game that you need 3 people to play?
Keep in mind, this is
Whatever
about to
that
be
is, we can play
an
it.
angry lich. And as soon as the door opens behind you,
Whatever.
and the lich's like anti-presence, it begins to suppress the cheery glow of your friend. And so he grabs you by the collar and drags you down further south and around the corner where there's another door.
Okay.
He's trying to drag you
will
into the
allow
next
my-
room.
Yeah. I'll let my friend do that. I trust him.
Do you follow Torfel?
Bridget,
Me?
you
Oh, I
follow
thought
him?
he was asking if he was following me.
Are you
Sorry.
following? Are you
Yeah.
following the
Yeah.
Wickhead?
Yeah, I keep
Okay.
going. I'm going. Yeah, let's go.
So
Get
he
out of here.
puts you in. So he pulls you both in the next room, and it is a odd riveted metal door, and slams it behind you, and is very loud. And in this room, there is. It's very well lit by your friend's head, and you see that on a bed in repose is the body of a young woman who seems to be quite dead but unrotting. In fact, the air smells quite perfumed by all the flowers that are along this bed, also not decaying.
Oh, so this is a literal reliquary we've got down here. Sorry, that's a Catholic thing, I guess. Sorry.
No, I get you.
Okay, yeah. I have no idea what we were going in here to find other than shiny stuff. So I don't know if Saint what's their face was a he saint or a sea saint, a sea shell.
She was a sea shanty.
Sea shanty, yeah.
Yeah, she was a shanty.
Fun fact for the Core Slayer Kickstarter, I wrote a sea shanty.
Sea shanty. A she okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do with. I don't know what to do with an undead, non-rotting thing, like person with floors and so forth.
I
Yeah,
got an idea.
you in the back. Okay, go for it.
Am I done with my book?
You still have a couple chapters to go.
Okay.
And then you've got to
you're
really
not
just
sure
sit there
if
and
it's
digest it.
indigestion or if your stomach is getting cursed in the process, but you're going to trust the
appendix
process.
is going to be a son of a bitch.
Yeah, this is not my first rodeo. I eat all kinds of stuff. I'm getting through it.
It's like
True
House
story.
of Leaves.
Not many writers will break the writer's code to tell you this, but how you become a writer is you get bitten by a book at some point, and you gain the power to
It's
write.
true.
You can't tell people that, Charles.
To go out and try to
Don't
get
need our
breaking
secrets
kayfabe,
getting
man.
out. You're like the
I'm
masked
breaking
magician.
kayfabe.
Spread our secrets.
At this point, you hear banging coming from the other side of that metal door.
Banging or banging?
Banging.
Okay.
Summer and Agnar, you hear a scuffle happen in that parlor. You hear something that sounds like, no, don't, and then give that back, and door slamming, and then it gets quiet in that parlor.
Oh, so banging.
So,
All right, heads or tails?
Heads.
tails.
Edge.
If we get tails, we leave. If we get heads, we'll go after them.
I got a 1 on my D2. The other side has a skull. So does that mean we go after
You
him?
tell me what that means.
I always assumed that the skull was heads. So
Okay. All right. Fine. Oh wait, no, I win. Haha.
But you're leaving?
Okay. Does Summer look really dejected at the thought of leaving them behind?
yeah, I think Summer feels
All
like we're like your family just left the dog on the side of the road. It's like we can't keep her.
Fucking hell. All right, Summer,
Yeah.
you owe me. Well, let's go. Let's go rescue them,
Okay.
or die in the process, more like.
Most likely.
We'll charge after them, which means we will actually get into the glitch before them and die sooner.
Okay.
You run through the parlor. Is there anything you need in the parlor? It sounds like they went to the door to the south.
Are there any scrolls?
Yeah. Go roll me 1d. Well, make me presence check real quickly.
14.
All right. Yeah. Roll me d4.
Luckily, my presence is my real good stat. That is a 1.
All right. So there is 1 scroll.
Hooray.
And what? Hurrah! Indeed. Roll me a d10.
That's a 1.
All right. It is Grace of a Dead Saint. That is D2 creatures regain D10 hit points each.
A healing spell.
Did you want to search at all, Summer?
Yeah, as Summer is like frantically looking around with their let's
For sake of time, since
let's
we're
say I
clo-
didn't
we're-
search. Let's say I didn't.
So since we're close on time, just roll me d10.
And that's how many spiders you found.
7.
That's how many spiders come out of your anus. 7.
So like
finally.
adventure, so maybe.
So you have you find a copy of the scroll. Metul, bind your eye. A creature becomes invisible for D6 rounds or until it's damaged.
Nice.
Ooh.
All right. So do you continue to the south?
Yes.
Let's go. We can be
Open the
invisible now.
doors. And you are hearing cursing in the dead tongue, quite literally and metaphorically. And you see this passageway kind of winds around and ends up at a metal door where the Lich is beginning to sink his claws into the metal and is beginning to, well, pull the door frame apart. He's just like getting frustrated and then it's beginning to punch the door and is punching big dents into it.
All right.
Can
we turn invisible?
Because he's focused on the doorway, can I throw my bear trap between him and me and then hit him upside the back of the head with my shepherd's staff, my Crozius?
Well, that's a compound action there. Only we're going to be able to choose one of those. I first heard Summer wanting to use a scroll.
Yeah, I got that scroll that can make us invisible. Your plan totally works. You know how it works even better, though? If we're invisible.
Mhm.
It's a good idea.
When you around the corner, the Lich stops banging on the door and turns. And you feel this terrible gaze fall upon you. The thing is so full with rage that its empty eye sockets are now full of balefire. And his skull illuminates this entire corridor with hellish light. And he points out at you, Summer. Roll me D6 plus your agility. Let's see who goes first, you or it.
3. And I already subtracted the 1.
Okay. Well, it chuckles as as you round the corner, and it points to your bag, and your bag unclips and opens, and those scrolls you've been carrying around, one of them floats out. The Lich
Fucker
grabs it and just waves his hand over, and all the runes on the scroll illuminate. And with terribly clear, perfect syntax, reads the blasphemous scroll. So, I need both of you to roll me D8.
That's that one.
That's an 8.
That would have been a good time to roll a 1, but I rolled a 5.
Okay, so that is how much damage you take.
I'm going to use
From
an
Roscoe's
omen.
consuming glare. Yeah.
I'm going to use an omen to not take that damage, actually.
So, Thurg and Torfel, you hear that banging sound stop, and instead you hear something worse, which is blasphemous words being spoken. Like, your ears were already bleeding at one point, Torfel, but now they're just gushing as you hear like the terrible words coming from the other side of the door. And something real bad is happening. So you use an omen, and what did you get? Better or worse?
What?
Sorry, I thought you were saying, Agnar, that you were using an omen to lessen the...
Yeah.
What did you get?
I don't know what you... Oh. I thought you could just use an omen to deflect damage.
Oh, well,
No,
so
you
you can. So there are a couple different ways that you can use your omens. If you want, you can either re-roll a die. You can lower damage dealt to you by D6. Those are going to be the most relevant ones for you right now.
Yeah. Okay, I lowered it by 3 points.
By 3 points. All right.
Agnar slams his Crozius down and just belts out a prayer to the seven-handed god, throws up the deuce to the lich, points at it, then points, and a shimmering shield of unreality kind of forms in front of the middle finger, deflecting most of the damage. That's how I am. That's how my prayer protects me, and I use my omen points.
There needs to be more cuss magic. Like more.
It's going to be in church crimes.
Yeah, church crimes love cuss magic as a yeah.
I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
All right. So the lich just chuckles and says, "Your god is dead and rots in hell. There is no shimmering fields for you."
Yeah. All right, one of my favorite things to tell anybody ever.
Jesus wept.
Yeah. Same thing.
The wickhead throws himself against the door as if to try to hold off, because he sounds like he is whimpering as the lich is beginning to speak even more blasphemous words from another scroll that he has tucked in his robes. But that does put us there at time for our outro announcements. So
I have an announcement. Whoever wrote this venture's an asshole. My announcement.
You've done rooms 4 and 5. Number 4, a lich resides here in this ornate yet decayed study. He reads from a book bound in goblin skin. He is friendly and excited for visitors so long as you discuss scholarly issues. And then 5. The body of a young woman lies in repose upon a bed of flowers. Eating her corpse will heal any wound. That's John for you.
I was going to eat her corpse.
Yeah.
Were you really?
I forgot about the cannibalism, but you're welcome, world.
That's awesome. I even said I'd probably do some cannibalism tonight. It didn't even occur to me to try and eat the dead lady. That's awesome.
That's why I want to know if I was done with my book yet, so that I could see if I needed to make some room or what for the.
You could do a cannibalism. Yeah.
I forgot about all of those things, but none of it shocks me. Friends, if you enjoyed that, and why would you? As Ian pointed out, we did 2 rooms, and there's like 10 of them. I think
7,
somewhere around there. 7. There's 7 rooms, and there's stat blocks, and there's more. The lich is not the scariest thing in that dungeon, I don't believe.
But I was already running away.
Tough luck, bud, because the lich was not the scariest thing. So we have a few things to talk about, but we actually have some news for specifically today that I want to talk about before I even talk anymore about Whispers. A new book dropped from Madness Heart Press that I'm extremely excited about. If you like the art on this stream, the cover was done by the same artist, Simone Tometa. That book is He Led Us into the Wilderness and Spoke to Us by our very own Charles R. Bernard.
Yeah! Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
Yeah.
And is the book
I'm excited
worth...
about this one.
Go
ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, is this book also worth devouring with as much gusto enthusiasm as a goblin skin bound book?
I would say so. The flavor profile will be slightly different, but good for you and full of fiber. It's also full of historical research, interesting facts about how Jonestown worked or didn't work, cults, religious horror, cosmic horror. He Led Us into the Wilderness and Spoke to Us is a novel about, I would say at its heart, ideology and the places that it can take us. A lot of the action centers around the events of Jonestown, Guyana on November 18th, 1978. So if you are interested in any of the things I listed above, religious fiction, cosmic horror, religious horror, pick it up. You'll enjoy it. And you can get it at tinyurl.com/He Led Us, capital HLNU.
And I want to point out that if you've heard that spiel and you're like, and that whatever. That doesn't sound like something I like. I'll think about. You're fucking lying. I sit in various rooms full of people talking about books. I would say like 99% of my life at this point. And what are people talking about? Oh, I want more stuff with cults. I want more stuff with cosmic horror. I want more true crime. I want more historical horror stuff that's based on real stories. This book literally has every SEO fucking hashtag you could possibly want, no matter who you are. And it's a banger. And
Thank
that's why I published it, because this one's good. This one is a very cool novel. Charles, you've said a few times that you think it's the best thing you've written to date.
Yeah,
I think
for
that
sure.
a baptism for the dead is a great book. It slaps, but I think that He Led Us into the Wilderness is a great entry. Like, get this new book, read it, and then start devouring Charles's other stuff. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah. I would recommend you devour it after you read it, though.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Um,
easier to read that way, in that order.
If you, all jokes aside, if you did enjoy this dungeon, Whispers of the Dead Saint is available in paperback from Amazon or MadnessHeart.press, and it has the full adventure we ran tonight, the class that Mr. Paschke played. It has new gear, it has new monsters, and as a bonus, there's an entire fucking novella that precedes the adventure that is lovingly illustrated by Simone. In fact, I showed these gents earlier. We have new bookmarks featuring Simone's art. One of my favorite pictures in the entire book is the woman with the like bloody hand reaching out of her throat. That's now a bookmark,
Yeah.
and it looks great.
Yeah,
Um,
it does.
so please pick up my book, and if you prefer audiobook, as some of you might, it is also on Audible. And you can also buy the audiobook off MadnessHeart.press or Godless. Just like buy our books. I do want to mention that there is a current Kickstarter project called Corpborg, I believe. That is near and dear to our hearts. It's a kind of a cyborgy _Borg corporate horror fighting corpo-fascism, a business center crawl. Ian, you're actually working on that, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be editing it and kind of also providing most little of development as well. It's chock full of really fantastic art, and I mean, it really looks like it's going to be a delight. And if you really like that kind of sardonic, dark humor, sorry, you were going to interject.
No, I was just going to say, so if you like what we do and you like, I will say like. Ian does an incredible job running games every week and packs in so much flavor. And I got to tell, like he read the full room descriptions after the fact. Everything on top of those room descriptions was Ian himself. So if you like the games he runs, if you like the way he puts together stuff, like support his projects 100% because they're golden and they're always really good.
He does a hell of a lot more than GM for us. Yeah.
Yeah. As always, I want to thank Bog Wizard for supplying the intro and outro music, which is Barbaria off the album Purple Miasmic Smoke. They are working on some new music right now, so please keep your eyes peeled for that. Ian, thank you for whatever you just did. I just got a ding on my phone.
I bought He Led Us into the Wilderness and Spoke to Me.
Nice. That will ship
Physical.
out shortly.
I'm gonna get physical with you, Charles.
It's so the cover. Honestly, occasionally I make a book and I make a cover for a book. Simone did the art. I did the layout for the cover. Occasionally I do a cover that I'm just like, man, this book can never go out of print because this cover is just something I want to have on my table.
Let me just let you know that if you are buying the physical book like I just did, it does also come with the digital, which I didn't know.
If you buy it off MadnessHeart.press, all physical books also come with the digital version now.
That saves me the trouble of trying to beg Charles for a copy to read digitally until the book arrives physically. So
Mhm.
support your local authors.
EPUB and PDF.
I'll tell you what.
EPUB
And on
units.
top of that, if you at me on Twitter, I'll send you a little something extra too. So an additional digital extra if you get my
The books
drift.
aren't the only thing that's spread around here.
So if we're quite done, speaking of Twitter, do not solicit Charles's balls pictures on Twitter. We get in trouble for that, but do follow at @OneMoncast. It's where we are online and we talk a lot about games and gaming and all that cool shit. I have been talking so fucking much about where Bridget's going to be, what Bridget's going to be doing at various cons, because she's a beast. This weekend, if you are in the Denver area, I am going to be at the Denver Comic Con. I will have copies of Odd Gobs, I'll have copies of Whispers, I'll have copies of some other gaming things. But I will also be doing 4 different panels. Those panels are world building for RPG players, how to play RPGs, running and starting a campaign, and we're going to do some live play as well with the entire audience at the Denver Fan Expo. So if you want to check that out, if you're interested in me arguing teeth first with my goddamn boss about AI on stage at Denver Fan Expo, I may be looking for a job soon. Please come out and support us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And on top of that, obviously, upcoming appearances, Bridget and I will both be at KillerCon this year, and then Bridget and I will also both be at BizarroCon in November. We don't, unfortunately, and I do mean this, Bridget, Charles, and Bridget and I will not be at Gen Con this year. Ian, are you or Mr. Paschke planning on trying to do Gen Con?
Not yet, unless someone forces me at gunpoint again.
See,
well,
Again.
Well, you fall for it once. Shame on me.
well, we'll keep an eye on it because we're still a few months out. I will ask Zach to force Ian to be at Gen Con. We'll see what happens though. God damn, that's so many things. We do have other books coming out. Next month we have Blade Job by Lucas Mangum, which is a wrestling time travel blood ritual novella. And we have The Backwoods, an erotic horror novel by Ed Lee. I'm going to hold off on telling you about what's coming out in August until farther into July. Other upcoming shit. We're spinning up the wheels on Madness Heart Radio once again. So if you enjoy the sound of my voice, and why would you? You can hear me interviewing fantastic horror authors and publishers. That will be probably hosted on this YouTube channel if you watch on YouTube, but it will have its own home on Twitter and its own RSS feed. Likewise, if you enjoy the occult and mysticism side of the shit I do, and or rather, more realistically, if you want to hear Jag Science, the Jewish monster hunter, make me look like an uneducated fool for an hour and a half, tune into our new show, Wayward Children. It has its own RSS thing again, but you can find it by following at I Gotta Try It.
He's close enough. He's like a level 25,000 mystical Jewish guy.
Yeah, he's a
Like he
scholar.
makes his own forks of resurrection and shit. Like, yeah, he's a legitimate scholar.
Yeah. I was really amazed that I was able to kind of hold my own on the first episode, but as knowledgeable as I am and as many occult books as I have read, I don't hold a candle to Jack. Mostly because he would use it to cast a spell and turn me into a newt. Friends, Thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. My name is John Baldisberger.
I am Charles R. Bernard.
I'm Ian Servas.
I am Bridget Brave.
I am the evil. No. I got nothing. I failed. I broke it. I was going to be the evil Charles. Wait, no, that doesn't work. And I'm still
Friends, we
just
will be
me.
back next week. Until
I am the
then,
NyQuil Charles.
get your shit straight.